As a National Guard medic, I am a soldier of two worlds. On most days, I'm a regular nurse. But when the call comes, I put on my uniform and go wherever disaster strikes. I've seen hurricanes that wipe homes clean, floods that wash everything away. I always thought that after all that, I still had a safe harbor to return to. But what do you do when the hurricane rises up inside that very harbor, and the one who robs you of everything is the person you trusted with the keys? I was in a remote village in Puerto Rico, 2 weeks after Hurricane Maria had devastated the island. The air was thick with the smell of mildew and despair. I am Sergeant Ivan Petrov. Our mission was to set up field clinics to care for the wounded and the desperate. The work was brutal. We were treating infected wounds from a lack of clean water, cases of dengue fever, and the psychological trauma of people who had lost everything. Every day, I told myself I was doing the right thing, that my sacrifice was worth it. And every night, as I collapsed exhausted onto my cot, I would think of Chicago, of our cozy apartment, of Sarah, and of Boris. That was my light at the end of the tunnel. We worked 18-hour days, slept on cots, and ate MREs. It was exhausting work, but it was meaningful. During a rare break, I tried to video call my girlfriend Sarah back in Chicago. We had a plan. As soon as I returned, we would officially get engaged. The image of her and our husky, Boris, was what kept me going. Boris wasn't just a dog. He was our promise. We had adopted him together, trained him together. He was the symbol of the family we were building. Every night before I slept, I would scroll through the photos of him on my phone. That was my dose of morale. But my call went straight to voicemail. Strange. I tried again. Same result. A cold sense of unease crept through my exhaustion. I opened my credit card app just to check if there were any unusual transactions, and my heart stopped. There was a $2,200 charge at a tire shop in Omaha, Nebraska, made 2 days ago. Omaha? I'd never been there. Then another charge, $300 at a supermarket in Des Moines, Iowa. What the hell was going on? I frantically opened my banking app. Our joint savings account, where I had deposited my entire military paycheck, was empty. $15,000 was gone. My heart was now pounding. I frantically checked my email. There was an email from our landlord, sent last week. The subject, noise complaint and moving out. My hand trembled as I opened it. He wrote, "Hi Ivan, hope you're doing okay. Just wanted to let you know that there was a moving truck at your apartment last weekend. The neighbors complained about the noise. Sarah said you two were moving to a better place. Congratulations." Moving? I didn't know anything about this. And then, a horrifying thought pierced my mind. Boris, my dog. I had put a GPS collar on him. I opened the tracking app. I was hoping to see a small blue dot blinking somewhere in my Chicago neighborhood. But the blue dot wasn't in Chicago. It was thousands of miles away, at a highway rest stop outside Denver, Colorado. In the span of 5 minutes, through 3 different apps, the entire truth was laid bare before me, cold and brutal. Sarah hadn't just left me. She had stolen my money, emptied our apartment, and worst of all, she had stolen my dog. For a soldier, the first response to an attack is to stay calm and assess the situation. I did exactly that. I didn't scream. I didn't break down. I started gathering intel. Sarah had deleted all her social media accounts, a guilty act. But she made a mistake. She forgot about the photos she was tagged in. I found a public Instagram account belonging to a man named Wanderlust Jake, a handsome guy who called himself a digital nomad. His page was full of heavily edited photos of fake sunsets and cliché quotes about living your authentic self. He was a peddler of fake dreams, a parasite who fed on the gullible, and now he was feeding on my life. I scrolled down. It was a digital diary of her betrayal, a photo from Nebraska. "Starting a new journey with my soulmate," Jake had written. In the photo, Sarah was wearing the necklace I had given her. Another photo from a national park. They were camping. The tent, the cooking gear. It was all mine, bought with my credit card. And then I saw it. The photo that broke my heart. Sarah and Jake were sitting by a campfire, beaming. And lying next to them, with sad eyes looking at the camera, was Boris, my husky. He had even tagged #DogDad and #VanLifeDog in the post. He hadn't just stolen my best friend. He was turning him into a prop for their disgusting social media campaign. He was building his personal brand on the ashes of my life. The anger inside me was no longer just grief. It had morphed into something colder and sharper. Revenge. They wanted to be famous? Fine. I'll make them famous. I filed a report with the Chicago police remotely, but I knew the process would be slow. I couldn't wait. I no longer cared about the money or the things. My sole mission now was get Boris back and make them pay. I realized that if they were using social media to show off, I could use it to hunt them. I decided to launch my own campaign. I created a single post on my personal Facebook page, and for the first time in my life, I made it public. The post was simple, but powerful. It had 3 photos and a short video I had taken of Boris before I left. And then I wrote the story, without embellishment, without hyperbole. My name is Ivan. I'm a National Guard medic, currently deployed on a hurricane relief mission in Puerto Rico. This is my dog, Boris. Last week, my girlfriend cleaned out our savings, emptied our apartment, and disappeared with Boris. She is currently on a cross-country road trip with her new lover, and they are posting pictures of my dog on social media. I don't need the money back. I just need my best friend home. If anyone sees this van, photo attached, or this husky in the Denver area, please report it to me or the local animal rescue. #FindBoris. I hit post, and then something incredible happened. My post started to be shared. First by friends and family, then by my fellow soldiers. Then it was picked up by military community pages with millions of followers. Then by husky lover groups. Then by local news sites in Chicago and Denver. Within 24 hours, the post had tens of thousands of shares. The #FindBoris started trending. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Thousands of strangers had turned into an online reconnaissance army. A retired police officer analyzed the license plate from a blurry photo and found Jake's registration information. A group of mom detectives analyzed the backgrounds of their photos, identifying landmarks and stores, mapping out their movements with near-perfect accuracy. A long-haul trucker commented, "Spotted the van at the I-80 rest stop west of Kearney, Nebraska this morning. They're heading west. The trucker network will keep an eye out." A graphic designer created a professional missing poster with Boris's picture and the couple's information, and it was shared even more than my original post. A local Denver news channel ran a short segment on my story. The power of the community was being mobilized, and I knew they had nowhere left to hide. Sarah and Jake's influencer dream had turned into a nightmare. Jake's Instagram page was bombarded with thousands of angry comments. "Dog thief! Give the soldier his dog back." They were forced to lock their accounts, but it was too late. Their faces and their van were everywhere. They were no longer free-roaming nomads. They were fugitives. The pressure became unbearable. They couldn't stop anywhere without being recognized. A bartender in a small Colorado town recognized them and secretly sent me a photo. "They're in a huge fight," she texted. "The girl looks like she's been crying." The net was closing in. They couldn't run anymore. 2 days after my post went viral, I received a call from an unknown number in Denver. It was Jake. His voice was full of fear. "Look, man, I didn't know it would get like this. I don't want any part of this. She told me it was her dog." "Where is Boris?" I asked, my voice cold. "We had a fight. I left her at a bus station. I don't know where the dog is." He hung up. A coward. But he wasn't just a coward. He was cruel. A few hours later, Jake reopened his Instagram and posted one final story. A picture of Sarah sitting alone at the bus station with the text, "I was lied to. Turns out she was a thief. I'm on my way to cooperate with the police. #TheTruth." He had thrown her under the bus to save himself. It was the most bitter karma for Sarah, to be betrayed by the very person for whom she had betrayed me. I was close to despair. But an hour later, I got another call, this time from an animal shelter in the Denver suburbs. "Mr. Petrov?" a kind woman's voice said. "We have a husky here named Boris. A woman dropped him off about an hour ago, said she couldn't take care of him anymore." My heart soared. I immediately contacted a veterans organization in Denver I had connected with through Facebook. An hour later, a retired Marine named Mike was at the shelter. He video called me, and then I saw him. Through a choppy phone screen, I saw Boris. He looked up, and when he heard my voice, he started to whine and wag his tail furiously. "Hey, buddy," I said, tears welling in my eyes. "It's me. I'm coming home soon." It was the most beautiful reunion I'd ever had. A few weeks later, my mission in Puerto Rico ended. My first flight was not to Chicago. It was to Denver. Mike and his wife met me at the airport. They drove me to their house, and the moment I walked in, a white ball of fur launched itself at me. Boris. The real reunion. I hugged him, burying my face in his fur, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like I was truly home. As for Sarah, she was eventually arrested in California a few weeks later for credit card fraud. The articles and evidence from the online community made her an easy target for law enforcement. My revenge wasn't her getting arrested. The real revenge was that thousands of people saw the real face of her and Jake, shattering the perfect life illusion they tried so hard to build. Their karma wasn't prison, it was exposure. They wanted to be influencers, and the internet community made them infamous instead of famous. They craved attention, and they got it, just not in the way they wanted. Standing in Mike's backyard, watching Boris run happily, I reflected on everything that had happened. The family I thought I had in Chicago betrayed me. But a community of strangers from all over the country, connected by kindness, empathy, and the love of a dog, had come to my rescue. I realized that true revenge isn't about destroying your enemy, but about rebuilding what you lost, stronger than before. Sarah and Jake tried to build their new life by stealing from mine. I, on the other hand, got the most precious part of my life back, thanks to the help of thousands of good people. In the end, that was the real victory. The greatest lesson I learned wasn't on a battlefield, but from this personal war. In the darkest of times, never underestimate the power of community and the kindness of strangers. Sometimes, a soldier's strongest support doesn't come from a single home, but from millions of hearts willing to stand up for what's right.